What is up guys, my name is Chase and we are finally super duper close to the release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It seems like we have been waiting forever for this game to come out. So in celebration of this new game, how about let's take a look at some of the Legend of Zelda games that you can play on the Nintendo Switch right now. The first Zelda game that you can play on your Nintendo Switch is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. And this works out perfectly because this is technically the first game in the Zelda timeline. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is a remaster of the original Wii game. I have a whole video talking at length about this game, so I'll just quickly summarize my thoughts on this game. Since this game was originally made only for the Wii, it has a lot of the Wii motion control gimmicks. So something like swinging your sword, which in most Zelda games would just feel like second nature, in Skyward Sword it feels like this big event where you have to physically swing your sword. I think in some ways that can kind of make the game feel a little clunky, but it's definitely a unique control style. In this HD remaster, they've also added a bunch of quality of life enhancements from the original game, the big one being button controls. This was also the first Zelda game that kind of gave us a taste of what would become Breath of the Wild, where in Skyward Sword you can kind of explore the world at your leisure. I did a full playthrough of this game on Twitch, and I had a pretty fun time playing this game for the first time ever. So overall, Skyward Sword HD is the definitive way to play this game, and it allows you to see the very beginning of Link's story on the Nintendo Switch. The next Zelda game that you can check out on the Nintendo Switch right now is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening on the Switch is once again a remaster of the original Game Boy game. Just like Skyward Sword, I have actually never played the original Link's Awakening game, so this version on the Switch was my first time experiencing it, and I think this is a lovely 2D Zelda game. I think the way they went about remaking the graphics for this game is just absolutely beautiful, and I would love to see more classic 2D Zelda games in this art style. It's got this really cute, chibi, almost like clay looking art style, and it works so beautifully in this top-down world of The Legend of Zelda. Of course, Link's Awakening features a lot of the classic Zelda themes that we're used to, lots of areas to explore and dungeons to discover, but there are a lot of like weird things happening in Link's Awakening. I won't give any spoilers, but if you know, you know. There's a lot of really like funny and quirky things about this game. And it's really great because you have the option of both 2D and 3D Zelda games for the Switch. Next up, I also wanted to talk about some of the Zelda spin-off games that you can find on the Nintendo Switch right now. There are actually some Zelda games for the Switch that aren't made by Nintendo. First off, we have the Hyrule Warriors series. These are basically Warriors-style games featuring Zelda characters. These games are much more focused on hack-and-slash style gameplay. First off, we have Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which was originally a Wii U game now brought onto the Switch, and it features a bunch of playable characters from the Zelda series. We also have Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which basically builds on the lore and the story of Breath of the Wild. And for that reason, I think Age of Calamity is a very interesting game to play, especially now before Tears of the Kingdom, because it gives you a lot of backstory behind the world of Breath of the Wild. And then another Zelda spin-off game that you can find on the Switch right now is Cadence of Hyrule Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. This is one of the most interesting Nintendo spin-off games ever. This is a rhythm-based RPG featuring Zelda characters. In case you haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer, the gameplay combines RPG elements with rhythm-based controls. As someone who absolutely loves rhythm games, I was completely sold on this. And the fact that Nintendo actually allowed an indie developer to use the Zelda property, I think is very, very interesting. And finally, what better way to prepare for Tears of the Kingdom than going back to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? I mean, what can I say about Breath of the Wild that already hasn't been said? This game, in my opinion, was one of the biggest steps in game development that Nintendo has made since the original jump to 3D on the Nintendo 64. I think Breath of the Wild has finally opened up Nintendo games to the concept of open world. And with the Zelda series, we've already had games that are so much fun to explore, but with Breath of the Wild, it just takes it to a whole nother level. I could literally spend hours just walking around this this world. Not even doing like story quests or anything, but just kind of like taking in everything that there is. It's so much fun to just explore and like discover new things within this world. So for me, Breath of the Wild is like one of my favorite Zelda games, if not my #1 favorite Zelda game. I've spent so much time exploring, and it's just an absolute blast to discover new things in this world. And I'm so excited that they're going to be expanding upon it even further in Tears of the Kingdom. So there's a look at the top Zelda games that you can find on the Nintendo Switch, and this isn't even counting some of the Zelda experiences you can get through the Nintendo Switch Online service. But anyway, I am so excited to finally get my hands on Tears of the Kingdom. You can bet your butt that I'll have a bunch of videos and live streams talking about Tears of the Kingdom, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see all of that. If you want to watch my full in-depth review of another Zelda game, feel free to check out the video below. For now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chase, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!